All right, I guess it's time for us to get started. Good morning, everybody. I guess we haven't said that already. Doing a roll call. Rhonda?
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Bakley.
Here.
Mr. Dixon.
Here.
Mr. Artizone.
Here.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
Mr. Holsinger.
Here.
Mr. Postles. Mr. Sheilo. Ms. Smith. We have a quorum.
Okay. So the first item of business we have then is the approval of the minutes for the February 29th meeting.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Right.
Thank you, Tom.
Any questions, corrections, et cetera, et cetera? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Public comment?
No.
None? Okay. Moving right ahead then, I guess it's now the Mackenzie show.
All right. So number 4 on your agenda is for the addition to Altoona Dermatology. This is located along Logan Boulevard and Mosser Street in the city of Altoona. And this is for a, this is the aerial imagery of the site. This is for the consolidation of 2 adjoining lots owned by Altoona Dermatology Associates for the purpose of creating one contiguous 0.496 acre parcel for the expansion of the existing medical facility. The proposal also includes the construction of a 2,000 square foot addition to the building, as well as new sidewalks and landscaping throughout the site. Updates to the existing 18 space parking facility include new striping, ADA improvements, which includes making these spaces a little more delineated,
Logan Boulevard
and
and
a
Mosser Street.
bicycle rack. However, no new parking spaces are proposed at the site. Additionally, new concrete sidewalks are provided throughout the site. That would be along here, along Logan Boulevard, and this connection here along Mosser Street. A new crosswalk is proposed along the site access drive, which should help with overall pedestrian safety and circulation around the facility. Landscaping plans provided with the proposal include several trees and shrubs along the foundation of the new building, which you can see here, as well as various trees and shrubs throughout the site. Street trees are proposed here along Logan Boulevard, as well as Mosser Street, which should make for an attractive site, as well as provide a sufficient buffer for headlight screening onto and off of the property. No lighting plan or photometrics were included with the proposal, so I did recommend that if any additional lighting were included, that it would be shielded or directed in a way to prevent glare onto neighboring properties and roadways. Environmentally, the review of natural features did not reveal any environmental concerns. The site is located within the Beaver Dam Branch, so the proposal did include this low-lying area of the existing lawn. They would convert that into a landscaped rain garden to help offset potential negative impacts on the watershed as a result of the proposal. Any questions on the addition?
Is this a parking space?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, it seems narrow unless, what is this line here, do you know?
That's the improved pavement, so that's all, this new, like this hashed out area here, that's gonna be like the way that they're expanding the existing lot here. They're gonna move it out a little, just a little tiny bit.
Oh. So this space exists already?
Yes, and it's just gonna be, that's the hashed out area was just showing it's gonna expand just a little bit to provide more space here for the ADA access.
Are there curbs around this parking lot?
Not currently, but there will be. They are proposed.
Can we go back to the previous image then? Does there need to be a back out space here? So that a car can back up and go this way, because this car can't. Space.
What?
Instant.
Flip the slide.
You think somebody couldn't back out of that spot?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's a common thing, to be able to back out, you need a space to.
You need some
you
kind of
really should
turn
have
on the
a
back.
turn bump out
5 foot
space,
back
so I
out.
think we should recommend that they add a bump out space to, even this space here, and maybe even that handicap space is a little bit more room, but to be able to back out of that space and go down the parking lot, especially if there's a curb there, it would be unable to do it very effectively.
Yeah, you gotta back straight out, hope there's enough space behind you to, and be able to turn. But you gotta get past everything else.
That's all I have.
It's on the code, isn't it?
So,
Isn't that on the code? I don't know.
should be.
It was. What was it?
I guess the only comment then would be that, looking at the parking, would be to request a bump out for turning at the one end. It seemed to be they own both properties in Castalia. It wouldn't seem like that's much of an issue.
No, it shouldn't
Put
be
that
an
in.
issue. I recommend that. I can recommend adding the additional space for turning around.
Is there a gradient in between those two lots? Is it pretty flat?
No, it's relatively flat. If you look at the
Okay.
aerial imagery, you can kind of tell. They say this area right here is a little bit lower lying than like the surrounding spots here, which is why they proposed the rain garden here. But I mean, feasibly, I don't see why it wouldn't make sense to extend, if they're extending it slightly anyway, to just.
Okay. All right.
I mean, even if there was no curb there and the sidewalk was part of the parking lot, they could use that space where the sidewalk is to back into, but not necessarily have to put a bump out in if that sidewalk is flat to the parking lot.
You shouldn't really be back there. So.
Well, yeah, but you don't.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, you're gonna end
They're
up.
really not doing anything.
I
to the lot, right?
Retract my statement.
All right.
Where are the egress?
Onto Mosser Street
Okay.
right here. It's nothing changes to the existing site access.
Isn't the parking lot itself actually the same as it's been?
Yeah, it's so the way that
That's what I thought.
the way it currently is set up is going to be exactly the same. It'll be accessed the exact same. The only thing that's proposed to change is it's going to be there's going to be some slight changes to ADA access, which the ADA parking is right here. They're going to be kind of fleshing it out a little bit more, but other than that, the parking should stay relatively the same, other than new striping. So this is the area that's being proposed to expand. They're proposing a rain garden here, so that area they do have to kind of, it seems like, play with because they're putting sidewalk in. I can definitely make the suggestion.
I mean, if they're leaving it the same, it should be okay, but if they're putting curbs in, it creates an issue with the wheels backing up into that space. They can leave it as it is, but when you put curbs in, that's a problem. Which I don't see the curbs on there, actually.
They did mention them. This is just the landscaping plan because the site plans didn't include the street trees and everything. But they did mention 8-inch curbs for the new sidewalks along Logan Boulevard and Mosser Street, and I just assumed it was the same for here, but I can double check.
Okay. If there are no additions or corrections, I will entertain a motion to approve the staff recommendations with the addition of the suggestion for a bump out for turning.
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
If there are no further questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving on, Valvoline.
Okay, so number 5 on your agenda is for the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. This is in Allegheny Township in the former site of the King's Family Restaurant, a favorite of mine. So this proposal is for the construction of a new 1664 square foot building for the Valvoline Instant Oil Change garage to be located on an out parcel of the Sierra North Plaza, which is in the Target, what is that, Sportsman, is that what it's called? Sportsman's Warehouse, right next to the Dunkin' Donuts. So in addition to, the proposal is to demolish the existing building here. This is about 7,000 square feet. And the proposal is to construct a 1,600 roughly square foot building with 2 lanes for the quick oil change. Access to the site doesn't change. It's through the existing plaza entrance along Sierra Drive with an improved 30-foot wide bi-directional access drive. Additional driveway aisles within the site have varying widths between 20 and 24 feet. Overall, it appears that the proposed access drives should provide adequate circulation throughout the site. You would enter here. This is a 30-foot bi-directional entrance. This turns into one-way. It's 2 lanes through the quick change, and it's 2 lanes to come out. This would be Plank Road here, but there's no exit onto Plank Road. There is a one-way bypass lane to go around that is marked do not enter and one way, and then the bi-directional parking access here. Parking calculations provided by the developer state that it will contain 15 total spaces, which are 14 standard spaces and 1 ADA accessible space, which is a reduction from the existing 75 parking spaces. However, based upon the type and size of the proposed development, we did anticipate that the proposed parking should be more than sufficient for the use type that is proposed here. Sidewalks are proposed within the site adjacent to the proposed building, so right along here and then right along here. However, no sidewalks are included anywhere else throughout the site. We did recommend that the developer install sidewalks along Plank Road in order to comply with Allegheny Township sidewalk requirements, as well as to meet the goal of increased safety and walkability of Plank Road as proposed in Plank Road's pedestrian access study, which was completed in January of 2012. So we did, again, recommend just the inclusion of sidewalks. I mean, it is a very busy corridor. I personally wouldn't want to walk along there, but we do want to kind of get the ball rolling on that for that corridor.
You know, you come down to the intersection and the change to get on 99. Where do you go if you have a sidewalk up to that point? Where do you walk?
Is there a grade there though between the road and the?
There is.
Yeah. Yep. I think you can kind of see here.
It'd be hard to put a sidewalk in there.
Yeah. Well, and even
They are eliminating a lot of this parking that exists here anyway. So.
But the issue too is you get down to where 99, where you're getting on 99. If you walk along there and you have a sidewalk in front of that place, where do you go after you get there? You gotta walk across all those entrance ramps and things to get to any place.
Well, believe it or not, I've
Doing
actually
it
seen people walking along that.
Oh, they're definitely.
Well, I've seen people do it too, but
Yeah, because they bring whole busloads in.
There's
there, they
definitely a
walk
path
around.
along the other side of the road. People walk down. It's been there forever, everybody.
It's done right routinely.
So, I mean, you could make the argument that, you know, at least putting the sidewalks in might encourage people from walking along that road.
Well, if they're
You mean,
walking
it's-
along
it's
the road
like a-
anyway, they should at least have the opportunity to do it safely, I'd say. So making the suggestion could lead
Well,
to.
if you make one and then another one comes in and you make that one. Eventually, you're gonna get a sidewalk to somewhere, but you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
PennDOT even recognizes that people walk on those boulevards all the time. And
Yeah,
it's not safe, but they're
Well,
not gonna do anything
I
about
agree,
it.
we shouldn't let anybody go in without sidewalks.
I don't have a problem with the sidewalk, my question is that at some point, if you put a sidewalk there and you put them to keep going, somebody's gotta address
Specify.
how you get across that intersection with 99 safely, if you're gonna walk.
Maybe if we keep pushing it, within 50 years, there'll be enough sidewalks to put them together.
Yeah, okay, all right. So if there are no
Exploding cars. Everybody's gonna go.
further additions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the staff recommendations for item 5 of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving on.
So this is for Holiday Hills Phase 2. This is located along Holiday Hills Drive near 3rd Avenue in Hollidaysburg Borough. If you're familiar with like the Y-switches intersection, this is just up from there. You might be familiar with this portion of the parcel, which in 2022 June, we approved Phase 1, which was the apartment, 7 duplexes that connected off of this, this drive. And so now, what's being proposed is development in this portion of the same parcel. Yay! So this proposal is for the construction of 14 new duplex houses within the Holiday Hills area on a parcel shared with the existing 7 townhouse development that, as I said, was approved in June of 2022, owned by Gretco Realty. This proposal will also include a private road, paved driveways, and a stormwater management facility. Access to the townhouses will be from a new 24-foot wide bi-directional private access road that will connect Beaver Street to Holiday Hills Drive. Again, it appears that the proposed access drive should provide adequate vehicle circulation and maneuverability within the site. However, due to the site's proximity to a busy intersection and railroad crossing, we did recommend that the developer consult with Hollidaysburg Borough and PennDOT potentially as well to assess any potential unforeseen transportation concerns as a result of the traffic that would come from the addition of this new road. The proposed parking for each of the duplexes includes a shared, roughly 30-foot wide paved driveway, which should meet the borough's requirements for developments of this type. The proposed townhouses do have the potential to generate additional peak hour vehicle trips at the site. However, we did not anticipate that any additional vehicle trips would be sufficient enough to require a transportation impact study. Regardless of if they've not already done so, we did recommend that the developer consult with Hollidaysburg Borough once again to assess any unforeseen impacts as a result of the proposed housing development. So sidewalks, as you can see, are not proposed anywhere in this plan. Sidewalks currently exist along Holiday Hills Drive. I think you can see it from this aerial. They stop literally right here. So what I proposed was that they complete the existing sidewalk connection along Holiday Hills Drive, as well as connecting Beaver Street into that sidewalk connection, and at least sidewalks along at least one side of this proposed road here as well, in order to provide for ample pedestrian circulation and walkability throughout the site. It is a heavily walked corridor. I have driven through there a couple times since reviewing this, just kind of throughout like different times in the day and throughout the week to kind of gauge pedestrian traffic and just vehicle traffic overall because of how close it is to the main throughway. And I've seen a lot of people just walking on the side of the road or walking in the grass, and that's just been in the past week or so since it's been nice.
Just out near the school.
Yep, up by Penmont Academy. So no lighting plan was proposed. Again, I recommend any lighting that is included would be in the areas that if they provided sidewalks, I did recommend that they would provide lighting along those sidewalks as well to provide for pedestrian safety. Environmentally, our review of natural features at the location revealed the presence of prime agricultural soils and steep slopes on portions of the site. Generally, we wouldn't recommend the conversion of prime agricultural soils, and the proposed townhouses would convert an existing vacant grass lot into a multifamily housing community. However, the lot is not currently being used for agricultural purposes due to the proximity to residential communities. So while it would be converting prime ag soils, right now it's just a vacant grass lot, so it's not being used for agricultural purposes, and it's in a residential community, so it makes sense for it to be used for residential purposes. And for those reasons, we did not necessarily see any opposition with the development. The site is located within the Beaver Dam branch of the Juniata River watershed. The post-construction stormwater management plan provided by the developers stated that the proposed stormwater management facilities would be designed in accordance with Hollidaysburg Borough's stormwater management ordinance as well as NPDES regulations. The inclusion of a stormwater infiltration basin should help to mitigate some of the negative impacts on the watershed as a result of the development, and that is proposed in this area right here.
Shouldn't we be recommending street trees, other than maple trees?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In their landscaping plan, I did not,
Otherwise it's gonna look like.
I did not actually include any information on the landscaping plan. Thank you. That's fine.
It's crowdscape if they have projects.
This is not under the same zoning as the Holiday Hills residential development, is it? It's a different zone, isn't it? Like
No,
Is it fall under, is it part of the original plan for the Holiday Hills development? This was just rezoned last year, wasn't it? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
I don't believe this portion hasn't been rezoned. This is multi.
As far as I'm aware, it is still zone plan residential.
still zone plan
I
residential.
don't have a zoning map with me at the moment, but I do believe it's still plan residential.
Okay. And I assume they're following those guidelines or whatever for that.
They would be following the guidelines for the same zoning resident, the same zone district for the plan residential.
Curious because the Holiday Hills had like a higher density, I guess. That's what I was wondering.
If I'm also correct, the Holiday Hills development was under a different developer than this one here. So they don't have the same covenant that the Holiday Hills developer had.
What does that mean? They don't have the same covenant.
The Holiday Hills fell under a covenant. The developer had a covenant on how everything had to be. I do believe Gredca is not the same developer as Holiday Hills development, so it would be two different developers on this project. Looking at the zoning map here, this is the old map.
So Gredca, I know the addition that, it's not included, this is an old aerial image from 2021, but the Gredca partnership that was proposed here, the 7 townhouses that are being built right now, that is Gredca here. As far as what this one is that's connected to it, I assume that's also Gredca, but I'm not entirely sure. This one is separate. This is a separate out parcel.
Just curious, worked on that Holiday Hills development, we had very strict, guidelines for, density and mixed use of housing. And I don't know if that was included, if this parcel was included in that whole development or not. I know there was a original plan for it. I thought they were under specific guidelines for density. That's my only question. So if that's not an issue, then I suppose it's okay.
Yeah, I can get back to you. I can take a look at that and double check. I'm actually not sure. So I will look at that and get back to you and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you for that. That's good to look into to make sure before moving forward.
Okay.
On street trees, you should not be planting the same type of tree. It should be variegated. So that if one type gets the blight and dies, it doesn't look like the desert again.
All right, if there are no further questions, are there additions or corrections that anybody wants to make to a motion? Or do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendations for?
The only thing that I would recommend that you have residential being proposed from both sides of that proposed right of way. You should have sidewalks on both sides.
It's in there. She wrote that.
Yeah, I made the
She said
recommendation that
that
they include sidewalks along, I believe, Holiday Hills Drive.
Yeah, but you said you
And
proposed
as well
at least one side.
At least, I did say at least one side of the,
I would
the
say
development.
it should be both sides.
I would agree with that. If we could get one side.
I mean, I didn't mean to give you a hard time.
No, I agree, absolutely.
Which brings back the issue: are sidewalks required in that?
Absolutely, yeah, that's my biggest question is I'm gonna have
All
to
the
look back at that.
sidewalks?
In this particular zone, I think they do.
That is
The
correct.
whole development is a pedestrian-oriented development, with sidewalks everywhere. So that's why I'm surprised to see this go this far. That's why I'm asking these questions. It seems like there's some things missing here.
What's the width of the?
But I don't have the information to ask the specific questions. So
What's
I'd
the
have to
width?
go
Of,
back and read the
I think
ordinance.
she said 30.
what's the width of the roadway there that they can put a sidewalk in?
So the proposed road is 24 foot wide, bi-directional. So 12 foot each drive.
That's standard.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to lose a little bit of driveway if they do that.
Well,
I mean, if you look at the parcel, sorry, I don't mean to change it while you're looking at it, but there's no limitation really on space. So if it's a matter of space, I do think making the suggestion for including sidewalks, space doesn't seem like the limitation.
yeah, it kind of looks.
And then it's going to mess up the setback.
Yeah, because it looks like if you put if you leave the roadway where it is and put sidewalk beside it or on as an addition, then you either have to move those buildings back 6 feet or so, 6 feet or so, or people are going to have extremely short driveways that may extend out onto the sidewalk, which is not what you want either.
They didn't figure that in anywhere along there. And I don't know what the clearance is, right here
Yeah.
in the setback.
No setbacks, that dash line.
Sorry.
Setbacks the dash line,
Mhm.
so they do have room.
Well, if they've got room, that ought to be made. Recommended it.
Well, I have a motion, and what you want to add as additions to that? Can I have a motion, please? I don't even want to try and rephrase it. I've heard so many different things.
With an addition of sidewalks, I'll make
Absolutely.
the motion.
Yep, I took notes while we were talking. I got notes.
Sorry. I mean, it's going to be restricted traffic, but by the state they're trying to get the sidewalks in. So I believe that it ought to be a part of the plan.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Item 7, Mackenzie, do you have this, I guess? Assume this? Yeah, you have this part? You have this part, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the ones that get sent to us by email that don't rise to the level of requiring a review like we just done. They're typically things like lot splits and mergers and line changes, things that just don't require don't require the full attention of this board. So, Mackenzie, what do you got? I guess the only question is, if you have any questions on any of these now, you've already seen these, they've come to you by email. Now's your time to ask Mackenzie. Silence is deafening. If there are no questions, can I have a motion to approve the staff actions and recommendations on item 7 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving ahead. Clearinghouse. This is more things that got set out by email. These are things that, again, are typically letters of support, review of applications that said we've seen it, that sort of thing. And so these have been sent to the board members by email for their review and comment. So if you have any comments on any of the items under item 8 there, now for Mackenzie, now's your time to ask them.
I have a question on the Taylor Township. What do they mean by surface water withdrawal increase? Where's the water gonna go? What is that?
So this is an application to the Susquehanna River Basin Commission. This is for, I believe from well number 3, they are withdrawing for blasting from well number 3. That's the extent of what I remember, but I reviewed the environmental reports and
This is from one of their wells, you say?
I believe so, yes. I don't have the permit with me offhand.
Because in the quarry, there's a couple holes that filled up with lots of water. I thought maybe they were draining one of the quarries that fill up with water.
I do not believe that's what this permit is for.
And what are they gonna do with it? They're gonna use it, or are they gonna push it back into Halter Creek?
They're pushing it back, they're releasing it back into the,
Into Halter Creek?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I can send you the new enterprise permit information whenever I get back to the office.
Okay.
I'll forward that over to
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no questions, and Kenny, you're gonna address Taylor Township separately, do I have a motion to approve the staff actions and reviews of item 8 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no further questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Okay.
So number 9 and 10 on your agenda are just 2 letters of support that we have sent out this month that we wanted to review for you guys. Number 9 was a letter of support for the City of Altoona's application for DCD's Municipal Assistance Program, and this was a funding request for their zoning code update. So we wrote I believe it's for their subdivision and land development
Yes.
ordinance update as well.
It's both.
Okay, yeah, so we wrote a letter of support for the city for that. And then for number 10 on the agenda, the letter of support for Southern Allegheny's Planning and Development Commission's Regional Greenways Mini Grant Program. This was for DCNR's Community Conservation Partnership Program. This is just round 11 of the funding. So we kind of support them every year and keep it going. So we wrote them a letter of support for that one as well. I don't know if this one requires action. This was more serving as an update to let you guys know about these projects coming down.
It should probably be voted on.
Okay.
Okay, so these are just basically letters of support for these two items sent to the appropriate DCED or wherever they're going, Conservation Natural Resources. That we think we give these things a favorable review, think they're a good idea. So can I have a motion to approve the staff actions and the letters of support for items 9 and 10 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Okay.
Current round of mini grants is currently open. I believe it's still open. So if you know anybody has a small trail or park project within the county, have them get in touch with us. We'll have them get in touch with SAPDC. Since we help out with that review process, it's better if they start with us and then we'll get them to DCD. That way we're aware of what's going on and I can help promote the project as it's reviewed. Also, SAPDC is talking about updating the Greenways Plan with an application next year, which would start funding for 2026. So we'll be looking at a Greenways Plan in 2026. We haven't had one since 2007, so the adoption will probably be in 27. So it's time to update it. So we'll go with that. Just while we were talking about that.
Okay. I guess the next thing moving right ahead is the long-range planning updates. And this, I guess Dave takes this over.
So BRAVE is our hazard mitigation plan. We are in the midst of the public outreach for the hazard mitigation plan. I just want to give a brief update of where we are. We did not start compiling data yet in terms of what we've received. We've had 2 prongs thus far. We've had a prong with the general public where we go through the community resilience, boiled down version of the community resilience workshops that were published about 8 years ago. They went better last time than this time. It seemed like, I don't know, we were just not connecting in terms of getting people to do it. We do have some feedback, of course, but it didn't run quite as smoothly this time. That said, we did get about 15 or 16 back, I guess. So we'll compile those. Basically, what we did was we took the state hazard mitigation plan, which was adopted at the end of last year, took all the hazards that are in that. There's 30 some odd hazards that the state has identified, had them rate those hazards in 4 categories from a score of 1 to 4. Those get totaled, and then the top 4 were transferred to another sheet. That sheet had you consider the strengths and vulnerabilities in your community, and community is defined however the person filling out the form wanted to think about it. It wasn't necessarily municipality or county or whatever you thought your community was. So identify specific things in your community, and then there's an intersection between the hazards and those things. What types of projects or what types of considerations need to be done to either strengthen the strengths or help the vulnerabilities not be so vulnerable. So those are back. That part is complete in terms of the outreach. I haven't even looked at the sheets yet. The other prong is the municipal outreach. That has focused more on capacity issues this time. We went into this knowing we had to speak on capacity. I was expecting to come out with an element in the comp plan or in the hazard mitigation plan saying we're going to engage in a capacity study that would have a focus of 20 years. From the first meeting, we were told you're looking at, I believe that meeting they said 5 years, 10 on the outside. We've had some tell us we're looking at 2 years, 5 on the outside. So it's time to get this looked at. Shaking some trees. Sherry found a DCD program that's free. Free is good. The downside is we need to get everybody to sign off on it. So that's 26 governments or governing boards that need to sign off to do it if we're going to do it that way. Alternatively, instead of doing county-wide, we could go by region and region. But one thing we'd like that study to do is help us identify what those regions should be. So that's one angle. Another angle we're looking at is to go through PEMA, write them a letter of intent, and see if they have some funding to go along that way as well. So we're working towards that, probably in conjunction with wrapping up the hazard mitigation plan. So as we wrap up one, we can jump right into the other. So right along with that, we're getting ready to, because this ties in, getting ready to start off the phase 1 of the stormwater management plan. That was called for in the current hazard mitigation plan. We've never had a countywide stormwater plan done, and our largest watershed, which is the Frankstown branch, which covers about 2/3 of the county, has never even been looked at from that perspective. So we're starting down that road. We don't have a signature back from the state yet, although we did get our end signed off, so we're set for that. Am I missing anything since everybody was there? So
Have the issues for playing for the stormwater management plan been resolved yet?
I missed what?
Well, who's paying for it? The stormwater management?
There's a $30,000 grant that we have to do that part of it.
Okay.
The phase 2, there's money available for it. If we move through quickly, that money will remain available.
Okay.
Quickly means something like August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay. We had the Government Advisory Committee meeting 2 weeks ago at Logan Township. We presented the discussion we had here last month on reorganizing the board. That was met favorably. They prefer an option where we regionalize it and we have 2 reps from Region 3 and 2 reps from the, or did they, no, they split Region 5. Yeah, so 2 reps from Region 5, so there'll be an Eastern Region 5 and a Western Region 5 for that. So that's where they are, what they're leaning towards. So we would have 1 from each region, 2 from 3, and 2 from 5, and 5 would be geographically split. There would be a gentleman's agreement in Region 3 that one of those would be from the city and one would be from the township. So that is
That's still,
that's the consensus of that board.
that's still preserve a non-member board?
Yes.
Okay. So it just
Yeah, the next step on that would now be to reach out to the municipalities and present it to them and start getting the votes that way. Likewise, we presented the change to the local share. That was also met favorably with a tweak that was suggested after our meeting, but before that one. So basically, they like the idea, or they seem to like the idea at least, of the carve out for the hours, taking that 25% for the hours, and then the remaining would be the like we do it now with per capita, with one change, and that would be because we're a county planning agency, the county would still take half of the local share, and then the remaining part would be done like we were saying. So the county would still do
per capita.
no, they'd still have their 25%, but the total of what they're paying would be 50% of the local share. So, and then the other 50% would be again, everybody do their 25%, but
Okay,
it's a tweak.
we probably need to see you lay
Yeah.
that out on
Yeah.
a spreadsheet somehow. So
Yeah,
we know
we'll
what's
we'll
going
get it
on.
there. I gotta get it.
Because that's
adjusted.
just, it sounds, okay.
Yeah, I want to adjust it as we get into budget time. I want to adjust it for the new numbers. Otherwise, we're going to have too much floating around. It's going to confuse people. But I just wanted to try to describe it. But that was where they were going on that. Again, the next step on that would be to take it to the municipalities and get a vote on that. That one,
Oh,
as we go around, because you only have one person from each municipality there, and you need we need a vote of each of the municipalities to change that.
yeah.
You got at least 2 other people in each municipality. Some cases you've got 6
5
or
or
7.
7, How was that received? How was the local share received by, say, the very small townships that have, are paying $100 or less?
They weren't there.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Well, there's
And that's going to be the issue.
that's
Yeah.
going to be the
Yeah,
issue, is
that's gonna be the
because you're now asking them to come up with some significant
serious money. Yeah.
money instead of basically getting a free ride.
But there were a few boroughs there. Our boroughs tend to be on the smaller end, and they seemed to be okay with it. At least the representatives were there. They understood what we were trying to do. They understood the purchase of time and things like that. So we did have a few there, but a number of them, especially the extreme smaller ones, were not present for that meeting. There was a couple turnovers there that I don't think the new people were quite up to snuff. That's exactly what we're going to be doing there. So
Yeah.
the other thing that came up in that meeting was this, it's been under the radar for a bit, was the concept of consolidating or coordinating or whatever we want to do, taking the review process and bringing it up to the county level. The development review is basically what we've been doing for the first half of our agenda, but putting it on steroids and taking it actually to an ordinance level and actually doing a full-blown review for each of the municipalities. There are a number of other counties that do this. There's a variety of ways of doing it, but the how we would do it and get through that, we need to work through that. We can leave the current ordinances in place and we just become the planning agency. We can take everything and make a county ordinance out of it, and then we would be doing a county ordinance, which would create some consistency. We can do some model ordinances and have the rural areas have one ordinance and the build-up areas have another, which would still create a little consistency, but would recognize that Altoona is not Houston Township, and vice versa. Things like that. So that would have to get worked through. But the concept seemed to be received favorably, just because of capacity issues, and basically they don't have to worry about people that are in place trying to figure some of this stuff out that aren't really trained to do it. So it seems like a good idea. Where it ends up is a question, and how we would coordinate that and keep whoever it is from going insane with 24 different ordinances would be another concept. That would have to be voluntary. We do have municipalities that are well set up for how they're doing it, the way they're doing it. I'm not sure they're going to want to give it up. But it would be there, and as personalities change, as people leave, come in, things like that, they could buy in instead of hiring a replacement.
Does this, it sounds, what I'm listing here,
Mhm.
it kind of sounds to me like though if we do it and it's some kind of county, we're moving these reviews up to a county level and having the level of review and approval now, we're stepping into the area of regulation and enforcement as opposed to just being advisory.
Right.
Now that has some
That's the whole
implications
changes,
for us.
yeah.
Implications for us in as far as our insurance liabilities and that sort, because again, I'm not sure that it's one of the discussions with the board, with this board would be, do we want to move into a regulatory function, or do we want to keep it as an advisory? Because I'm not sure we want it to be regulatory. It means, for one thing, it probably means staffing up to do it.
Mhm.
Secondly, it means, we're gonna have to have errors and omission insurance for the board and for the staff. And that's gonna increase our insurance costs. So because I don't think that anybody on this board and members of staff should basically do this. This is free public service for most of us, and incur financial liability on our personal finances. That's just not right. So I think that if you move to that regulatory function, that's something we will have to have. Yeah, and also who we can get qualified people. That's if our hiring pains have been any indication. Oh, it's trying staffing is going to be maybe a difficult situation.
It's something to be looked at. It was something there was an interest in. So, and
Okay.
it's been, like I said, it's been under the radar for a while. But that's something that's, it's starting to boil up a little higher now.
Okay. Again, it comes down to the same thing we were talking about when they were talking about the stormwater management, flood control
Right.
stuff of, okay, where they wanted you to maintain essentially almost like a building permit type system for properties from birth to death, and that's not, I don't know, the county doesn't do that even with building permits, so why would we, we're not gonna step in and do that for stormwater. Okay. I'm gonna let somebody take over. I gotta visit the boys' room.
I just have one question, Dave.
Mhm.
For the proposed board reorganization, you're talking about splitting the region that includes Altoona and Logan Township. Why would there not be a specific designation in the agreement that one would be from Altoona and one would be from Logan
It
Township?
may end up.
Was somebody, objecting to, because you're talking about just having an agreement but not written, was there an objection to?
Not necessarily. That's where they started. Yeah, we may end up there.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, okay,
So,
thank you.
it was basically literally the representative from Altoona and the representative from Logan Township, and I don't remember which one did this, or he said, you can do one, I'll do the other. And yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, it
That's
does.
basically where
Yeah.
it was, and the gentleman's agreement. Okay, that's,
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I was
it
just
may go
thinking
further.
along the lines of making sure it stays consistent, you'd probably want it written in, but
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
it's just a thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's up to you.
Jim Dixon is taking over.
Oh, Jim, okay.
Okay, David, what's next?
Amy's on.
Well, I see that we're gonna have a meet and greet kind of thing with you guys next week, and we're looking forward to that. I know that neither Laura nor Dave have the commissioners have been on this board. So this will be great. This will be a nice opportunity for all of us to learn more. So that's, we're looking forward to that. It'll be good to meet everybody.
It's planning commission's turn.
Oh. Is there any comments from anybody at the commission?
I'm still not receiving all these emails. When you said the Metropolitan Clearinghouse, none, all right? I don't know what you're doing to me. We went over my email address numerous times. I get everything else.
She
But I
doesn't want to
don't get that
overwork
from
you.
the Clearinghouse.
He's respecting your age.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, maybe check your junk mail. We
No,
actually were
it-
having, what's your email, is your email a
Just
Gmail?
kidding.
Yes.
So actually, Outlook had a big problem that we've been calling our service provider, UDNI. We've been calling them and on the phone with them all day, all week, because our outgoing and incoming emails, specifically from Gmail, and there were a couple of other ones like AOL, we were not receiving them. It was an entire Outlook outage. So we've been trying to resolve it, but a lot of Gmail stuff has not been going out. Linda's, when I sent out the consent agenda to Linda, because she has an AOL, it actually bounced back to me and told me it was not delivered, so I had to send it to her separately. So yours might go to spam because it's being sent to, 10 different people, it might mark it as spam. I will double check with that. It didn't bounce back for me, but I can double check and see if it was on our end and then make sure that you're getting them. Before it was an issue on my end, I had your wrong email address, but now.
Does
Did you
anybody
get
else
the
have
agenda packet?
Gmail here? Does anybody else have Gmail that has similar problems?
I have trouble getting some things on Outlook and not on Gmail.
So it's Outlook then.
It's definitely Outlook.
We were having
Mr.
problems in
Holsinger.
the county with getting things to Gmails. DA's office had a couple people that couldn't get email, so I don't know what's going on.
Mr. Holsinger, did you get the agenda packet when I sent that to you?
Yes,
You
I've
got
got
that?
all that important, the agendas and everything.
But you didn't get
I'm
the
looking
consent
at my
agenda.
spam right now, and in the month of March, nothing from you guys either.
I sent it out March 9th, I believe.
Yeah, it was single digits.
March 8th, sorry.
March 8th. I got something from my auto warranty from you guys, but that's it. Nothing. Nothing at all.
So, is that a Gmail problem? Is there nothing we can do to improve that?
They made some changes in our back office stuff without getting into the technobabble. Our settings were not, there was a, I'll say an internet-wide update that did not happen in our back office, so they made those changes. So we're supposed to be keeping an eye on it over the next week or two. Hopefully it's fixed, but yeah.
Your security level set at the highest level
I
or
mean-
medium level?
Yeah, sometimes if your security is set super high, if someone's sending an email to more than like 10 recipients, which this would be.
And I don't understand. I get the agendas and everything.
So
Why not?
it's on here. It says that you are marked as a recipient for it, just the same as everybody else. You're a main recipient and
It's-
not even a copied recipient. So
It's still in the cloud then, all right?
It's in there.
That's what I like about Gmail. I can respond on my phone.
Actually, no.
Automatic broadband. Got it.
No, Pat's a Gmail.
Yeah, that's what he said, so I was wondering if Pat gets it
So
done, right?
did you get the
Yeah, yours is
consent
Gmail.
agenda?
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Bailey,
get
did you get the
everything,
consent
yeah.
agenda?
I'm getting
And
everything.
you're a Gmail.
Yeah, so that's,
I'll check my security levels then.
I'll
all
just-
right,
I
does
can
anybody
send
else,
it to
any
you.
other thoughts or questions? Okay, Dave, where we at here?
Questions from the media?
I'm good. I have everything I need.
Well, that's good. And Chamber of Commerce?
Hmm?
Next one is,
Oh, yeah,
Upcoming
it's just the upcoming events.
and Dave, you wanna, we have some changes going on with our staff? You
Yeah.
wanna say anything about that?
This is Emily Evie. She's the new community planner. She'll be doing the reviews from here on out. And Mackenzie's leaving us in 2 weeks. We'll be looking to replace that position, and we'll keep you posted.
And she's done a wonderful job since she's been on
Yes,
board.
yes,
So,
for sure.
We're
It's
gonna
a,
miss you, kiddo.
yeah, it's a huge loss for us.
All right, then, anything else? The next board meeting is,
25th.
yep, 25th, going on, so everybody.
So one thing I did want to ask,
Okay.
a number of places are shutting down the afternoon of the 8th for the eclipse. Do we want to do that or not?
And if we don't, we are gonna be standing outside, I want you to know, as an office at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
between
around
2
the
and
picnic table.
2:15. We'll be standing outside of the courthouse, you can catch us all there, you especially. we were standing outside staring at the sun, so.
Make sure you have your
We do, we have
glasses.
protective glasses.
That's
We
good.
do, we do.
Actually, some of the folks are talking about going over to the parking garage and standing on the top of that because then you don't have anything.
Perfect, that's actually where we'll be at, on the roof of the parking garage.
I have the day off, so I'm not gonna be anywhere near here.
How long is this eclipse supposed to last?
Roughly the afternoon.
Yeah, it's supposed to start around 2 and end at 3:16.
So
probably
hope to get
be
the
cloudy
office
that
up
day.
for the
It's
afternoon.
cloudy here last time.
Hmm?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
The office up
I'm
for the
I'm
can't work in the
going to
dark.
visit my sister because she's in the path of totality, so I'm going to be out in
Herb says you
Ohio.
can't work in the
So
dark.
I'm excited, but you're right, it'll probably rain.
Yeah. Around here, so.
Oh, good.
Should be in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Ah, Walt says that it's supposed to be a nice
As
day.
of now.
We're going to-
I have a question. If I filled one of these out for the Ethics Commission and Roaring Spring Borough, do I need to do one for the county?
No.
Yeah, I thought you had to have one for each.
Yeah, I thought you had to have one for each, I always had.
Got one, I think all of them are supposed to
Yeah,
need one.
yeah.
You need the one, I think you're supposed to have both,
Organization.
both organizations on the
did.
form.
Each organization has to have.
Yeah, it's right here on the front. Those individuals who hold more than one office and or position must file a copy of their form at each filing location.
And each,
Yeah, okay.
I won't take long.
Make a copy.
Make a copy of the one
Yeah,
there.
make a copy.
Yeah.
Get it.
Send it by Gmail.
The trouble is, just for some reason, the
We're
second,
just ready for
it's
adjournment.
always been the case.
Okay. Yeah, you
I
can't.
don't know what I did to Mackenzie. I didn't.
Yeah,
No,
Okay, Bill, anything else?
that's it. I guess we've done all the, letting everybody talk.
Yep.
So we're down to
Adjournment.
ask for a meeting for motion to adjourn.
Can I make that motion?
Yeah, if you want.
Please.
Happy Easter, everybody.
We're out of here. Happy Easter, yeah.
Happy
See you
Easter.
next month. Very good.
See ya.